Before the college entrance exam, my parents died in a car accident. The police asked my sister and me to choose who from our family would take care of us. My sister chose my aunt, who was as gentle and unassuming as a chrysanthemum. First, I had no choice but to go home with my uncle, who was full of macho attitudes. My uncle thought that girls didn't need to go to school. He wouldn't let me take the college entrance exam. He also wanted to arrange a marriage for me with the village chief's son. I wanted to run away, but my sister tipped off my uncle, who found me and beat me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment when I had to choose my family. While I was hesitating on how to ask my aunt to take me with her, my sister spoke up again first. I choose uncle. I want to go with uncle. The sister moved in response to the words spoken. After speaking, she stood right behind her uncle, thereby making her stance clear. Didn't sister always say that she hated uncle and liked auntie? I definitely have to fulfill my sister's wish. After all, I'm the older sister. Seeing the smug smile on her face, I realized that my sister had also been reborn. Seeing my aunt's indifferent expression, I smiled at her in an attempt to please her and stood behind her. The police only asked after seeing that both my sister and I had made our choices. If you two have no objections, please come over and sign. My aunt nodded upon hearing this, while my uncle seemed somewhat impatient. Then come with me, sign the documents and let's go home quickly. While my aunt and uncle were away, my sister came over to me, mocking me as usual. Wan, you really have no luck. This time, the chance to marry the young master and enjoy a good life will be my turn. You idiot who sits on the toilet without doing anything. You've caused me to be tormented by my aunt. This time, I'm going to become the young mistress. Wen Yi's eyebrows almost jumped with arrogance as she stopped pretending and declared war on me outright. I greedily savored my young and healthy body, feeling a bit of sympathy for her. I have to say, no matter when, you always do stupid things, but you do have a lot of perseverance. She's only 18. And yet she already thinks about getting married as a shortcut to success. No wonder she was a poor student in elementary school. That kind of intelligence is definitely problematic. I too bring 1 part sincerity and 9 parts hypocrisy. I wish her a wonderful life as a young widow. Wen Yi ran the words through her mind before realizing that I was mocking her. She was furious and ready to curse at me. Just then, her uncle told her to leave, forcing her to grit her teeth silently. If my sister can't get by, please don't come begging at my doorstep. I find it unlucky my aunt happened to overhear this. To make a good impression on her, I didn't respond in kind. Watching their retreating figures, I finally realized that this time, things were truly different. The sunset stretched my aunt's shadow, and I followed closely behind, stepping right on top of it. When my parents were still alive, I heard them say that my aunt had a too cold and indifferent personality. Can't find anything interesting. I'm 28 and still never had a boyfriend, to the point where villagers would gossip about him. He simply bought these 2-bedroom apartments in the town and lived there alone. Seeing the curious look in my eyes, my aunt handed me the new slippers she had bought. Don't cause any trouble for me. Your current task is to study hard. He led me into a tidy little room. It was clear that the bed sheets and pillowcases were all newly purchased. My aunt told me to pack my things by myself. Then she went into the kitchen and skillfully prepared fish and cooked meals. The kitchen was filled with the lively atmosphere of cooking. Unlike in my past life, my uncle rushed to play cards with his friends as soon as we got home, and simply told me to sleep on the balcony. Dinner consisted of 4 dishes and 1 soup. I was so full that I felt like crying with happiness. My aunt began to set rules for me, saying that since I was now an adult, I had to earn everything myself, including tuition and living expenses. 5 yuan for washing the dishes once, 5 yuan for cleaning once, 5 yuan for doing laundry, 10 yuan for cooking by oneself, and 15 yuan if all homework is done correctly. I thought that in total, it would be around 40 yuan per day. But my aunt told me again, this includes tuition fees. I'll deduct 20 yuan from it every day. In other words, I only have 20 yuan per day to cover my living expenses, including lunch and school supplies. No wonder. In this life. My sister chose my uncle without hesitation. Previously, it was rumored that my aunt didn't care about anything. It seems now that it's her own rules that are causing her great suffering. Since childhood, my sister has been lazy and unwilling to study. Getting money from my aunt to cover her living expenses is practically impossible. My aunt said she only works 8 hours a day and never does overtime. As long as the money earned each month is enough for expenses, that's fine. But now, with me to support, the additional costs for tuition and living expenses force her to work overtime to make ends meet. To make up for the time she spends on overtime, I have to take on all the household chores. This way, she can save the time she'd otherwise spend working for the household after work. I choose to respect her rules. As long as I can still go to school and someone takes care of my meals and sleep, it doesn't matter if it's a bit difficult. Besides, it was my arrival that increased my aunt's workload and disrupted her daily routine. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll study hard and repay you in the future. My aunt noncommittally handed over 40 yuan as my startup capital for the first day. A month passed quietly. As I got used to the routine, I began to feel like I had figured out a pattern to it. While doing housework, one can memorize words, formulas, and texts. This way, one can still prepare effectively for the college entrance exam a few months later. Such days were something I couldn't have even wished for in my past life. I completely ignored my aunt's cold demeanor and would often prepare dinner for her when she came back. I ran into Annie again at the school entrance. Looking at her face was sallow, with dark circles under her eyes that almost appeared black. Her hair also lacked luster, completely devoid of the former glow of confidence. When he already took a leave of absence from school, her uncle married her off to an idiot. And she even received a dowry of 88,000. Didn't she get everything she wanted? Uncle called to share the good news, clearly implying that aunt should contribute money for the ceremony. They don't even want to hold a banquet, yet still expect people to give gifts. They're completely obsessed with money. My aunt simply refused, saying she was too busy. You wretched little bitch. 1 I knew you did this on purpose. Why didn't you warn me that uncle wanted me to marry that fool from the village chief's family? When he stared at me with hatred in her eyes. Does she really think I'm still that timid and weak when whether before or after rebirth? It's always she who makes the choices first, whether things go well or not. It's my fault. What? After being neighbors with a dog for a few days, you've learned to talk nonsense too. Hearing me mention the dog in the yard, Wenwan's expression grew even darker. Uncle keeps dogs not because he likes them, but because he's into their meat. Ever since I moved in, he's left all the dog-related chores, like feeding and cleaning up after the dog, to me. But the yard is so small, the dog smell is terrible. If it weren't tied up, it would probably climb into my bed at night. Did you marry that idiot because you couldn't stand your dog-loving neighbor? No wonder you smell like dog poop. And your hair never seems to get rid of that smell. Wenwan was greatly irritated by the dog and the fool. Her expression changed dramatically, and her eyes swelled with anger. You wretched bitch. Just wait. I'll make you kneel and beg for mercy. I've heard this so many times I'm practically worn out of hearing it. Every time they threaten me, it's always the same thing. Put nicely, 88,000 is considered a betrothal gift. But first, there's no marriage certificate, and second, no wedding banquet was held. Is what you're doing considered illicit intercourse without a marriage contract? Or is it actually fraud? When Yi was so angry that she tried to hit me, but I managed to dodge her attacks with quick movements. What do you know, you wretched fool? I'll find another rich man, and I'll be rich again in no time. I told you she hated going to school so much. How could she possibly want to go back voluntarily? Turns out, she's trying to find another wealthy husband. When Yi has always relied on her looks to trick men into giving her small favors. Now that she's using idiots as a stepping stone to her goals. It's not surprising at all, but class is about to start. Who has the time to listen to the nonsense spouted by someone who just wants to waste time like her? It's a complete waste of time. She kept her word. Since she didn't dare cause trouble at school, she started inciting that idiot to block me on my way home. The big fool is dressed neatly. If he didn't speak, I'd think he was a normal person. Is this you who bullied my wife? This path now belongs to me. Kneel down and apologize to my wife. After saying that, the big fool took out a folding bench from his backpack and carefully unfolded it for Winnie to sit on. This path is the shortest way home. If you take a detour, it will take twice as long. Although it doesn't pose a threat, it still wastes my time. And that's what really matters. Kneel down and admit your mistake. Pay me 20 yuan every day as toll to cross. Then I'll let you go for now. Seeing my hesitant expression, my sister reverted to her smug demeanor. What are you thinking? You two really do look like a married couple. Just lock you up together. Too lazy to waste any more time. I'll just change lanes and head home at full sprint. I got home late today. My aunt was already cooking. She gave me a brief glance. Damn it. This means another 10 yuan less tomorrow. By the time I finish the housework and homework, it's already the early hours of the morning. I'm worried that this can't go on like this. The next day, I went to school with black circles under my eyes. That idiot was standing at the intersection, holding a sign in his hand. It says, "Gentlewomen and dogs are not allowed to pass by." This fool must have been drugged by her, acting completely obediently like a dog. Never mind. I'll take a detour to get to school. Can talking to idiots somehow make you stupid too? During the 10-minute break, everyone was talking about the latest gossip. Lu Yuan from class 2 is actually not a rich second-generation heir. All the luxury brands he owns are knockoffs. Really? Weren't they supposed to have mines in their family? When did this happen? Hearing the words fake second-generation rich kids, a brilliant idea struck me. Perfect timing. Just what I needed at exactly the moment I needed it. When school was over, I deliberately took that shortcut again. When E and the idiot were already there. 1-1. If you have the guts, keep taking detours every day and see how long you can go on. After all, it's you who's getting delayed, not me, despite having beautiful, delicate features. She puts on a sharp and nasty expression, still trying to collect a toll from me. Do you think you're like Lu Yuan? Some rich second-generation heir with a fortune to spare. It's impossible to make me back down. After I finished speaking, I continued to take a detour. I figured it would be a good way to get some exercise. The bait has been laid out. Now it's just a matter of when Yi will bite. Sure enough, Yi wasn't seen anywhere these past few days. Only the big fool remained at the intersection. Several times in the school's grove, I saw Yi's figure, either bringing drinks or desserts to Lu Yuan, typical puppy-like behavior. When the time was right, I didn't even need to do anything. The photos of the two of them in bed became the talk of the school that day. It turned out that Lu Yuan had discovered Yi's infidelity before this. In a fit of anger and embarrassment, he took pictures of the two of them in bed while she was asleep. I thought I could use this to threaten Wan into paying me some money to keep quiet. But unexpectedly, Wan took it away from me. Poor Winnie still thought she was the one who threatened Lu Yuan in reverse, not realizing that both of them had ulterior motives. This became a juicy scandal that everyone loved to talk about. With a drama level comparable to that of a blockbuster movie, these two are like dogs fighting with each other. One wants to live off someone else, while the other wants to marry into a wealthy family. They really complement each other. You have no idea how embarrassing the scale of those photos is. On special occasions, they can even be used for, well, the male students exchanged knowing smiles with each other. The fool still stubbornly tries to complete Yi's tasks. The more he wears the green hat, the more energetic he seems. Big fool. If you don't stay close to your wife every day, what's the point of blocking me? The big fool wasn't bothered at all, and even showed me his teeth in a grin. Hasn't your wife come with you for several days now? She's doing this on purpose to make you catch me, so she can meet her lover in secret. That idiot thought I was lying and even threw stones at me. Luckily, I managed to dodge them quickly. Look, isn't this your wife? She's sleeping with another man and doesn't want you anymore. The big fool's attempt to pick up stones made him burst into tears the moment he saw the photo. A fool will always be a fool. That acting of throwing a fit is really ridiculous. All right. Give the photo to your wife, so she can bear you a baby. Otherwise, I'll tell your father. That way, your wife will continue to be nice to you. With a grateful look in the big fool's eyes, I finally got rid of him. It was 2 months later that I saw Winnie again, looking at her slightly rounded belly and that big fool's exaggerated protective mannerisms. Great. That idiot's threat actually worked. He really made her pregnant before letting her go, but she wasn't able to enter the campus as she had hoped, and was stopped along the way. Teacher, I'm a student here. I did take sick leave and just returned now. Why shouldn't I be allowed in? Winnie stood at the door, speaking boldly and without any courtesy in her words. The classmates around also stood at the door to watch the excitement. After all, this was the heroine of the bed photo scene. The teacher adjusted his glasses and spoke, his face expressionless. Winnie, many parents have complained about your improper behavior, which has had a negative impact on the school. The school has decided to expel you and lure you on. This incident caused a lot of commotion. Many parents were worried that Winnie would have a negative influence on their children's academic performance and mental health. As a result, they jointly demanded that Winnie be expelled from school. Many people in the crowd showed disdainful expressions. Winnie blushed with embarrassment. When she turned around, she saw me. She was so angry that she trembled all over, screaming insults like a sieve shaking grain. You wretched woman. Wan, you're nothing but a jinx. You deliberately brought up Lu Yuan in front of me. That's all part of your schemes, isn't it? I don't even have time to do my homework every day. How am I supposed to let you go after some rich second-generation heir? I can't just accuse people wrongly. You know, who can't pretend to be weak. Besides, I'm a top student, while Winnie is a poor student. The teachers and classmates stood by me, accusing Winnie of randomly biting people and asking her to leave. The big fool said nothing, hiding timidly behind Winnie. This made Winnie so angry that she couldn't take it out on anyone else, so she punched and kicked the fool instead. A farce came to an end with the ringing of the class bell. No one paid any more attention to the foolish couple. After thinking it over, I'm still a little worried. There's still a month left until the college entrance exam. To prevent Winnie from causing trouble and ruining my college entrance exams, I took the time to secretly return to the village. After squatting for several hours, I finally saw the big fool appear alone. To my surprise, he even thanked me. You're really a great person. My wife is indeed pregnant. When I become a father, I'll treat you to candy. Hee hee. The big fool clapped his hands with joy, and even took the time to wipe the saliva that was flowing from his mouth. I really admire Winnie now. She can even tolerate a fool like him and make him happy. Does your wife like sour foods? The big fool scratched his head, thought for a moment, then nodded. I continued to fool him around. They say that children born to acidic-natured mothers and spicy-natured fathers are usually sons. Your wife must be carrying a son. That means you'll have a successor in the family. You definitely can't let your wife go out. Otherwise, your son might be in danger, and he won't be able to become a father. The big fool's eyes revealed a hint of unease, but I felt not a trace of guilt. If you don't think of yourself, heaven and earth will condemn you. I almost got sold to that idiot as his wife. At a time when everything's so difficult, I'm just grateful that no one's causing me any extra trouble. You're such a kind person. Please help me think of a way. I want to become my son's father, so I can keep sleeping with my wife. The big fool was so anxious that he stamped his feet. Then, turning to me, he saw me as a lifeline and tried to grab my arm. Don't worry. Just ask your father to say that your wife is carrying a son. Then your father won't let your wife go out. I was afraid the idiot wouldn't express himself clearly. I waited until he repeated what he said twice before telling him to go back and say it right away. Who in the village doesn't know that? In order to have a son, the village head's family had 3 daughters before finally getting a son. But unfortunately, it turned out to be a foolish son. No matter how foolish the son might be, he's still a means of continuing the family line. The village head still loves him very much. Otherwise, why would he give his uncle a dowry of 88,000? They didn't even get a marriage certificate or hold a wedding ceremony. Instead, the son was simply brought over to have children right away. The village head would never make jokes about his grandson. He definitely wouldn't allow Yi to go out casually under any circumstances. Now I can focus on my studies without any interruptions. It's so great to have days without any interruptions. I can focus entirely on preparing for exams. Even in my dreams, I keep working on practice problems. The college entrance examination arrived as scheduled. The 3 days of testing were exhausting, yet also filled with the spirit of youth. Back at the cozy little home, my aunt, unusually, didn't work overtime and prepared a whole table of food. After dinner, I told my aunt that I would go pay respects to my parents tomorrow. My aunt nodded in agreement. On the way back the next day, it was inevitable to run into acquaintances. I greeted each of them. I saw Winnie, with her pregnant belly, chatting and cracking sunflower seeds at the same time. She has a rosy complexion and seems to be doing well. But everywhere she goes, there's that idiotic sister following her around. Hey, isn't that our future college student? I wonder if he cheated on the exams. No matter how well Winnie does in her life, she never stops slandering me. She's truly like a persistent ghost who won't leave me alone. I couldn't be bothered to waste words with her, so I tried to walk away. Seeing this, Winnie became even more persistent. Look at her, she must be feeling guilty. Once the grades are released, I'll report you and have your grades checked for any discrepancies. Winnie became more and more enthusiastic as she spoke, her eyes shining with excitement. Speak in a softer voice. I'm afraid of dogs. You speak so nicely. You must have wiped your mouth after using the toilet. What business is it of mine how you act? Don't forget that a month ago, you were expelled from school for having an ambiguous relationship with another man. Winnie was so angry by my 3 consecutive attacks that her face turned red and her neck swelled up. She even took the time to steal a glance at the big fool's sister. You're making false accusations, Dawn. Think that just because I say you cheated, you can slander me in return. The villagers also had excited glints in their eyes. They couldn't even be bothered to crack open the sunflower seeds anymore. If it weren't for the person involved being present, I would definitely have pressed them with endless questions. In the village, as long as it wasn't about them, people would love to go out and spread the gossip right away after hearing it. Seeing that the situation wasn't in her favor, Winnie covered her stomach with both hands and cried out in pain. The big fool's sister couldn't bring herself to ask any questions. She helped Winnie walk back carefully, occasionally turning around as if wanting to say something but stopping herself. Heh. Once the seeds of doubt are sown, even if Winnie uses her stomach as a shield, it'll still be enough to give her a hard time. After all, since there was an ambiguous relationship with the man before pregnancy, the child's parentage is questionable. After all, a fool as a father isn't really a fool after all. Wan, is everything you said true? Is Winnie really like that? Facing their inquiring looks, I said no more. Sometimes, it's better to leave things unsaid. Standing in front of the grave, I felt a bit sad. They say good people don't live long, while those who bring harm live on for centuries. I kind of believe that now. The days waiting for my test scores always seem endless. I've taken on a part-time job to earn more money for tuition and living expenses. My aunt is alone, and she isn't very interested in making money. The 4 years of college will cost a lot of money. Part-time work is simple. It involves distributing flyers, which is a very common task. Other parents who work part-time think it's a great way to stay fit. But for someone like me who has to work hard to make a living, it's purely out of necessity. During my break, I went to the lounge provided by the store, and there I saw Lu Yuan. She used to be so aloof and unapproachable. Who would have thought she'd end up doing part-time work like me? This is my territory. Go ahead and act your silly ways over there. Is this person addicted to playing the role of a wealthy young master? Everyone was too tired to talk. He, on the other hand, acted like he didn't want anyone to approach him. Such an annoying attitude. I immediately raised my voice. Who could it be? Turns out it's that scumbag who bullies female classmates, gets them pregnant, and then doesn't take responsibility. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone, without bothering to rest, looked at me and Lu Yuan with eager expressions. Lu Yuan was like a cat with its tail stepped on, jumping up in surprise. Who are you? Stop talking nonsense. She's already not clean to begin with, and now she wants to swindle me. You don't need to know who I am. All I know is that she's pregnant. It's pitiful for that child not to know who the father is. My ambiguous words left Lu Yuan momentarily stunned. But his gaze soon returned to clarity. You yourself said you don't know whose child it is. What does it matter to me if she's not proper? But her boyfriend is an idiot. What does an idiot know? Looking at his thoughtful gaze, I stepped out of the shop, eager for what lay ahead. Lu Yuan is in such a desperate need of money right now that he'll definitely take the opportunity to extort someone. The next day, I indeed didn't see Lu Yuan. Some said he had resigned, while others said he had taken time off. Yesterday's explosive news made everyone understand that I'm not someone to be trifled with. Today, someone even offered me their coolest seat voluntarily. Before even entering society, I've already learned the lesson clearly. It wasn't until I saw the results that my mind finally settled down. 586 points, definitely above the minimum score required for admission to a first-tier university. I can finally attend the school I've always wanted to go to. Even my aunt's usually indifferent eyes welled up with tears. Yet she continued to speak in a cold tone. At university, you'll still need to study while earning money to cover your living expenses. Don't even think about spending money recklessly. I'll go with you to keep an eye on you. My aunt's words shocked me greatly. If it wasn't for my sake, I wouldn't believe it no matter what. You know, my aunt has always made sure to earn every penny she spent. Thank you, Auntie. In the future, I'll introduce you to my boyfriend. I promise you'll be satisfied. My aunt gave me a sidelong glance, her expression somewhat exasperated. After spending time together like this, I also often joke around, because this person's gentle and unassuming aunt is actually someone with a kind heart, though she's not good at expressing it. After filling out the application forms, my aunt bought lots of things, saying she wanted to invite the neighbors in the village to share the wedding sweets with them. Actually, I understand that my aunt just wants to fulfill my parents' wishes. When I was little, my parents would tell everyone that when I got into college, they'd invite everyone over for celebration. I never thought my aunt would still remember. Wan is really impressive to have gotten into such a great university. We'll surely benefit from her success in the future. Our little Hai also wants to learn from Wan and strive to get into a good university. She's far better than Bai Wenyi. You have no idea what you're getting into by marrying that fool from the village chief's family. The villagers kept praising him, but their eyes were fixed on the melon seed snacks. Everyone started talking at the same time. They said that the village chief's family didn't quite believe that the sister was carrying a child with intellectual disabilities. They simply wanted to conduct a paternity test as soon as the baby was born. Previously, I treated her well with delicious food and drinks, hoping she'd give birth to a healthy baby boy. Now, I no longer spoil her and make her do all the laundry and cooking every day. The sister acted like a maid, taking care of the village chief's family. She wasn't even allowed to go out alone. Just a few days ago, the village chief caught her meeting with a man alone, and they seemed to be behaving in an affectionate manner. The village chief was so angry that he almost fainted on the spot. Your uncle isn't a good person either. He didn't come to support her, and he even slapped Wenyi. Lu Yuan is really great at this. He refuses to admit it verbally, but in reality, he still comes over anyway. Failed to deceive others, only to be misunderstood in return. Being pregnant and still going through all this. Wenyi really has a tough time these days. Everyone was packed so tightly that it was impossible to get through. My aunt and I managed to squeeze through, only to see Wenyi approaching. Her gaze was as if laced with poison. The way she stared at me was truly terrifying. seeing her haggard appearance and the bruises on her face. Her round cheeks now had prominent cheekbones. "Auntie. Let's go. It's time to head back. Every time I see Winnie, nothing good happens. It's like we're destined to get along badly. You wretched woman. It's all because of you that I've suffered like this. I've taken all the pain on your behalf. Why don't you just die? Die already." Winnie, with her belly protruding, rushed straight toward me while everyone else wasn't looking. What kind of idiot is this? Caught after barely taking a few steps. How can they even talk about coming over and killing me? My aunt stood right in front of me. In a protective stance, the fool grabbed Winnie, trying to stop her with too much force. As a result, he tore her collar apart. The exposed fair skin and the purple marks from scratches made everyone laugh. The fool isn't so foolish anymore. He even knows how to treat his wife with care. It's unbearable to watch. With everyone talking so much, even a fool would think it was praise. He happily thanked them, when he was so angry that she crossed her arms over her chest. Staring fixedly at the fool, "What a great thing you've done. Take off your clothes and give them to me." When he took the fool's clothes, eagerly put them on, and walked towards me. "I'm your sister after all. Why can't you bear to see me happy?" Is this a change in strategy towards a more conciliatory approach? My aunt patted my hand to signal me to stay silent. "It was you who chose your uncle back then. Your sister chose to be with me without any argument or competition. Now that you remember that you're the older sister, then why did you falsely accuse Wanwan of cheating earlier? And now, what kind of sisterly bond are you talking about in such a hypocritical manner?" My aunt had a cold expression, but her words were beyond dispute. Winnie stared at her aunt blankly, her eyes filled with confusion. "Things have gotten chaotic. Wanwan, what kind of spell did you cast on my aunt? She hates meddling in others' affairs and arguing with people the most. If I had known it would turn out like this, Auntie, can I go with you? Please go talk to Uncle for me." "Okay," Winnie screamed hysterically, and her behavior seemed somewhat abnormal. "This is a matter of signing to confirm the arrangement. Unless your uncle no longer wants to adopt you, you'll have to figure things out on your own." When I was being led away by my aunt, I could still see Winnie's frenzied appearance. When people couldn't understand her, they thought she was crazy. Looking at the hand that my aunt had been holding all along, I feel so fortunate to have met her this time. It wasn't me who changed my aunt. It was my aunt who changed me. As for Winnie, from the moment she was reborn, she was selfishly eager to take shortcuts. Actually, the moment she chose her uncle, I thought about speaking up to stop her. She's so selfish that she only thinks of herself, showing no regard for the bonds of sisterhood. Upon returning home, we packed our luggage and bought tickets to the unfamiliar city where we would study. This place is really huge. Even the leaves on the trees look so vibrant. No wonder everyone wants to settle in big cities. My aunt found a job in the same industry. With her extensive experience, she quickly got the hang of it. I worked part-time while going to school and earned 600 yuan. That covered my living expenses for the first month. I originally thought my efforts and achievements were quite good, but I never realized that there are always people better than me out there. Hardworking people and those with natural talent can't be compared at all, while others finish their homework effortlessly. I have to work hard and even do part-time jobs to make up for my lack of talent. My first semester came to an end as I slowly figured things out along the way. Winter vacation means going home to celebrate the new year. I thought I'd take on a part-time job during the new year to earn some money, but my aunt acted just as expected. A new year spent not going home has no soul. "If you won't go, I will," seeing the longing in my aunt's eyes. We bought train tickets and set off on our journey home. Firecrackers aren't allowed in the town, so my aunt took me back to our family's yard in the countryside. When E and I were adopted separately, the old house also had a wall built around it, dividing it into two parts. I heard that Uncle has already rented out the house. We thought it would be nice to have some peace and quiet when we go back. Stepping through the crunching snow on my way home, I saw everyone gathered at the entrance of the village chief's house. Isn't the postpartum period usually spent at home? Wen-yi is quite unique, spending her postpartum time in the snow. Is there any special reason for that? A preteen child saw Wen-yi shivering with cold. And his childish question made everyone laugh. Everyone contributed their thoughts. And soon the answer was figured out. This time, Wen-wan gave birth to a boy. The village chief and his family were overjoyed. However, the child somewhat resembled a fool in appearance. The village chief laughed heartily and said that since it was grown on their own land, there was no need for a paternity test. But a month later, as the child grew a bit more, he began to resemble Wen-yi. By chance, some friends came over to visit, and they casually mentioned that the child didn't seem stupid at all. The village chief's family was in a panic. They had wanted to save on the appraisal costs. But now they were completely flustered. It concerns the continuation of the family line through the children, so no carelessness is allowed. As soon as the report came out, it turned out the child was indeed mentally challenged. But the village chief's family was already very stingy. Now, they despised Wen-yi even more. Thinking she was wasting the family's money, the village head cursed Wen-yi as an omen of bad luck. He forced her to leave, taking her son with her, and drove her out in the heavy snow. They didn't even give her any thick clothes to wear. They also said she had improper behavior, fearing that she might cause embarrassment in the future. After all, since no marriage certificate was issued and no wedding ceremony was held, no one would have anything to say if they kicked her out. Watching Wen-yi, who was trembling violently with teeth chattering, with snowflakes covering her head, I felt no pity at all. The moment my sister's vacant gaze met mine, it became sharp and piercing, as if she wanted to cut through my heart without any hesitation. With her pale complexion, she truly resembled a vengeful ghost. Uncle and aunt rushed over upon hearing the news, pretending to be deeply concerned. My dear niece has never had a good life since she came to your house. Now that she's given birth to a healthy baby boy, how could you throw him out in the snow like that? It's completely heartless. Everyone, please be fair and just. This is bullying our little E, who has no father or mother. They constantly criticized the village chief and his family for keeping the gates locked, but didn't dare to insult them outright. Seeing that no one in the village chief's family answered the door, the two turned to have everyone witness the situation. This is Xiao Yi, whom their family doesn't want anymore. They had a son through her. The betrothal gifts cannot be refunded. Everyone saw that today. Stop trying to make any more excuses. It sounds nice, but if they truly cared, they wouldn't have sold Wen-yi to a fool like him. After all this talk about being concerned, not a single extra piece of clothing was given to Wen-yi. What a hypocritical act. They might not care, but I can't ignore it. I know too well how people in the village gossip. It's instinctive to feel sympathy for the weak. I immediately took off my clothes, pretending to show deep sisterly affection. Thankfully, this coat was an old, worn-out model from years ago. Otherwise, I would have been too upset to sleep. My sister was bullied until she ended up like this. Hurry up and put on your coat, or you'll catch a cold. In Wen-yi's murderous gaze, I calmly accepted everyone's praise. Wan is sensible after all. No wonder she was able to get into a good university. Just don't follow in your sister's footsteps. She really isn't honest even after getting married. This is also why everyone is indifferent to it. They're afraid that some young people might act recklessly, thereby fueling unhealthy trends and behaviors. These days, who else but the village head's family is so well off? They work hard to save up so much money for getting a wife. What if they end up marrying someone of poor character? Then all that money will be wasted. As we walked away, everyone dispersed. When I saw Wen-yi again, it was my aunt and uncle who brought her along. We went home together to celebrate Qingming festival. She huddled under the big tree at the entrance of the village, dressed in tattered clothes, staring greedily at the children playing around her. Wen-yi took the opportunity to pick up one of the children, holding them and kissing them over and over again. When his eyes met mine, the tenderness on his face turned into something grotesque. You jinx. Why? Even though I've changed my fate and decided not to study this time, I still live a worse life than you. Don't you think I look pretty proud like this? Why should I always give in to everyone since I was a child? It seems like she had gone mad. The other children threw stones at her. She picked up the child and rushed down the path nearby. By the time the children realized what was happening, she had already run away. Uncle also rushed over with a few strangers. I gave you a dowry. It's your niece who ran off and refused to have children with my son. If she runs away or refuses to bear children, you must return the money to me. Huh. Upon hearing this, the uncle's expression turned ugly, and he spoke in a harsh tone to the child beside him. Where did Winnie go? Who said to buy candy for her? When the children heard about the candy, their eyes lit up, and they all pointed in the direction Winnie had run off. Just wait till I pull off the skin from this worthless bitch's back. She should give birth properly first, and then we can find her another owner. Why would she try to run away? The group of people pushed the children aside, ignoring their cries for candy, and rushed after them with their weapons in hand. It seems like the uncle has tasted the benefits of this approach, so he's starting to imitate the village chief's tactics. As long as he gets a bride price, doesn't hold a wedding or get a marriage certificate, and simply has a child with a single woman, he can move on to another family and make more money. Unexpectedly, when Yi became somewhat mentally disturbed from the torture and took the opportunity to run back and see her son, my aunt and I exchanged a glance and decided to go check what was happening. Then we heard angry shouts. You crazy woman want to steal my grandson. I'll beat you to death. Hold her down, break her legs, and let's see if she still dares to come. The village chief's wife rolled up her sleeves and, wielding a stick, ordered people to hold Winnie down. One blow after another was landed on Winnie's knees, with screams echoing along the path, hearing the sound of bone fractures. Everyone present felt a chill and took a step back. Upon seeing this, the uncle and the bachelor rushed forward immediately, and a fierce battle was about to break out. When E is one of our people, what right do you have to hit her? She hasn't given birth to my son yet. You've beaten her so badly that she can no longer have children. You should be responsible for the medical expenses. When Yi's legs were broken, her head was bleeding, and every part of her body was injured. When Yi's screams grew weaker and weaker, her mouth was filled with blood, and she muttered words that no one could understand. This must be a dream. I can definitely start over again. I want to be reborn. Her words were unclear, and upon closer inspection, it became apparent that 2 of her front teeth had been knocked out. The 2 sides continued to argue endlessly, so the village chief had no choice but to step in and resolve the situation. In the end, the issue was resolved when the village chief paid for Wen Yi's medical and nutritional expenses. Wen Yi was carried away by the door panel, a sight that made everyone sigh. 3 days later, just as I was about to head back, my uncle informed me that I needed to attend my sister's funeral. This uncle even tries to make money from my sister's death. All we can do is go there, go through the motions, and then leave quickly, because the road ahead of us is still very long. Wen Yi's side story. The moment I was reborn, I couldn't wait to choose my uncle. In my past life, I chose my aunt, who was as gentle and unassuming as a chrysanthemum. Right away. Isn't Wan always likable? Then let her please her uncle and make things work between them. I thought that by following my aunt, I'd have food and drink to spare. And most importantly, she wouldn't bother me with my studies. I never expected that my aunt would not only encourage me to study, but also expect me to earn enough money to cover my living expenses and tuition fees while studying. I had to be very frugal with daily necessities. My classmates laughed at me so much that I couldn't even hold my head up. When my aunt forced me to wash the dishes and sweep the floor, I ran to the balcony and threatened her. If you keep pressing me, I'll jump down from here. To my surprise, my aunt remained unmoved and just watched me squatting on the balcony. When my legs went numb from squatting, I tried to change my position, but unexpectedly, I fell down. I took a long time to recover from my injuries. I heard that Wan didn't go to school and got married early to live a comfortable life. She married the village chief's son. He's a wealthy man. I hate it to death. But my sister actually refuses to return and even runs away from marriage. How rude of her. After my uncle arrived, I told him where my sister was hiding, keeping it a secret from my aunt. Later, I heard that my sister had died. I just think she lacks good fortune. If it were me, I'd definitely go there happily. It's so great to be married to someone else who takes care of all the food and drink needs. I just need to enjoy my life. Perhaps God heard my prayers. When I opened my eyes, I found that I had been reborn. This time, I quickly chose uncle. This time, it's my turn to enjoy the perks. But when it came time to marry into the family, I panicked. Isn't it said that a good family environment means having money and power? But my uncle and aunt didn't say I should get married. What fools they are. My uncle took the betrothal gifts, but didn't care whether I lived or died. They forced me to be with that idiot before letting me go out. It was then that I remembered there were many wealthy people in school. This was my only chance to escape my fate. So I pacified the fool and asked him to go ask the village chief to help me restore my school enrollment. The village chief granted every request of the fool's son, and actually agreed to let me return to school. I'm going to use my good looks to find a wealthy man. But why does Wenwan seem to be living a better life than I did in my past life? I can't accept it. I'm jealous to the point of madness. The result of constantly looking for faults was that I ended up approaching Lu Yuan, that fake second-generation rich kid. Out of desperation, the sycophant ended up with nothing, and I even lost my reputation in the process. Even a fool can't be deceived like that. They wouldn't let me go until they confirmed I was pregnant. I'm not willing to accept this. Let me try one more time. I can't believe I still won't be able to find it. After all, even something like rebirth could happen to me, but the school wouldn't even let me in. They said I'd been expelled. It's all that bitch Wenwan's fault. Why bring up Lu Yuan at all? I don't know why. But everyone took her side and started gossiping about me. I just want to get out of this difficult situation and find happiness. What's wrong with that? The foolish family either beat or insulted me because of Wenwan's words. Believing that the child had an unknown origin, I want to kill Wenwan. That jinx. Why does she have to spout such honest truths? I'm her own sister. After all, my aunt has also changed. Her protective attitude toward Wenwan drives me crazy. I only had a few days of peace after the child was born. Some pervert claimed the child wasn't stupid. I cursed that his descendants won't be his own blood. In the freezing cold, I could barely speak properly. Wenwan, being kind-hearted, gave me a torn piece of clothing. My uncle and aunt are driven by greed. They treat me as a tool to make money, using me solely for giving birth to children for others. I'm a human being, not a tool. I really can't go on living like this. But after thinking it over, I have no choice but to go to the village. The moment I saw the child, I knew it was my child. There's no way I could mistake him for anyone else. I'm a mother. Why shouldn't I be allowed to see my child? The village chief and his family are all bandits. They thought I wanted to steal their children, so they even broke my leg. This must be a dream. I'm sure I can start over again. If I can start over once, I'll definitely do it twice more. When my uncle and the others got the compensation and left me alone in the room to fend for myself, I thought about starting over. I bumped my head into the wall. This life has been too hard. In my next life, I'll make sure to trample those who've mistreated me under my feet. Wenwan, just you wait.